Here's a look at the current top 10 in the official world golf rankings. Been lots of talk about the OWGR in recent months, and Eamon, sounds like that will continue.
Yeah, Damon, there was some interesting news announced by the OWGR just before the new year. A tour that conducts 54-hole events will be awarded world ranking points, but it's not the one people are talking about. The Professional Golf Tour of Mexico started in 2017. Its application process to get points took 16 months. And here's how that tour is structured. The Professional Golf Tour of Mexico, 54-hole events, but with a 36-hole cut, does have an annual open qualifying school providing opportunities for local and regional players, and a no-cut season-ending championship.
Is there anything in this news with the OWGR, with this tour being accredited, as it were, that can give us an indication on what it might mean for LIV Golf going forward?
I think all it means is that it's signposting the road that LIV Golf has said it's not going to take. Because when you read the language of the official World Golf Rankings press release announcing that this tour was getting points, it was at pains to stress how compliant this tour has been. At one point it said, since it existed, was founded in 2017, it said they have continually worked toward the standard required to become an OWGR eligible golf tour. Unspoken in that is that LIV Golf has not actually done that. And there is a requirement that a tour be compliant with all criteria for a year in advance of getting points. And LIV Golf is not yet compliant in that. In fact, Greg Norman has explicitly said they will not meet some of those criteria. They just simply want to be awarded points to which they're not entitled. People have latched on to the 16-month process here from the application to get the points. Right now, we're just 6 months into the LIV Golf application. But again, the date of the application and the awarding of points isn't really an apples-to-apples comparison if LIV Golf is not compliant with the criteria in the way that the Professional Golf Tour of Mexico has been compliant. So I'm not sure there are a lot of learnings and parallels that can be taken here, other than the one tour plays by the stated rules and one doesn't wish to.
The other points that were highlighted, there is a 36-hole cut in this tour. There is a Q series or Q school in which players can earn membership. It just seems like bullet point after bullet point after bullet point is something that LIV Golf does not have. And it tells me that this is a process for LIV Golf, whether they want to follow it to the letter or not, that we could be years away potentially from LIV Golf being where it wants to be. You know, the machinations and the whinings, I guess, of the LIV Golf players or Greg Norman notwithstanding.
Yeah, we're going to hear a lot more of that, and potentially I could see it going to litigation, which appears to be the method of first attempt here by LIV in all of this stuff. But the qualification process is quite important here, because the LIV Tour is a closed ecosystem. Players are on that tour by dint of invitation from Greg Norman. That's the only basis on which they've gotten there. They've had players on that tour who'd never made a cut in their entire professional careers, who were there essentially to make up the numbers based on their amateur career. And you know, he's talked about bringing in this relegation system. Well, some of the LIV players that they sign, some of the bigger names, are exempt from relegation contractually. They can't be relegated. So it's not really any kind of relegation process. It's not a qualification process if it's kind of determined essentially on either contracts or Greg Norman's whim. And that's a major sticking point when it comes to the official World Golf Ranking on how players get on this tour, and which is why you're seeing LIV present this gaslighting argument that players are entitled to world ranking points as individuals based on what they've done in their career.
What about that argument? You know, being devil's advocate, if someone says Dustin Johnson, one of the best players in the world, Cameron Smith, Open champ, Players champ, you're saying it's not about the individuals as much, it's about the tour that they play on.
Exactly, and it's a competition you're measured against. Dustin Johnson could decide to go and beat up on everyone on the Alps Tour in Europe week in, week out, if he wanted to preserve a world ranking under that kind of notion. Dustin Johnson, Cam Smith, they opted out. They knew the LIV Golf Tour did not have world ranking points. They knew there was a process, if they bothered to check, there is a process by which LIV could qualify for world ranking points. LIV is simply saying we don't intend to follow that process. We wish to be exempt from that process. We've bought these big name players, therefore we have bought legitimacy. That's not how it works, and I don't think that's how it's going to work.